The Astros are a complicated team. Do you remember when Jeff Luhnow was hired as the GM after Jim Crane bought the team from Drayton McClain? You remember when the Astros tore it down and had a historic streak of losing. It was only 9 years ago, in 2011, when the Astros lost over 100 games. It was 8 years ago in 2012 when the Astros lost 100 games. It was 7 years ago in 2013 when the Astros lost 100 games. 3 years in a row of absolute crap on the field. They had high draft picks every year, number one picks. They brought in Correa. They had Altuve, Springer. Their only draft pick who didn't work out was a guy named Mark Appel, was a pitcher they drafted. Didn't happen for him. I don't think even Appel is in the big leagues. I think he may have gotten one cup of coffee, took one sip, spit it out, and he was done. The Astros won one World Series since their teardown. There was a thought that they'd be a dynasty. There was a thought that they'd win back-to-back, 2 out of 3. When they were in the World Series last year against the Nationals, win 2 out of 3 World Series, you got yourself a dynasty. Get back to the World Series by winning Game 7 this year. You're in 3 World Series like the Dodgers, but you already won 1. You win another, that's 2. That's the beginning of a dynasty. The enduring legacy of the Astros will be the following. They only won 1 World Series. I say only because they were built to win more. They were expected to win more. They almost won more, and they didn't. You combine that with the sign-stealing scandal, which plagued them this entire season, and you've got yourself a team with 1 championship that seems tainted because it happened right during the height of sign stealing. You compare that to a legacy like the Dodgers. If the Rays win this World Series, the Dodgers and their 8 division championships, their 4 World Series appearances, or 3 World Series appearances in 4 years, and 0 titles, there is no legacy. They're a team that might as well be the Cleveland Indians, who had that great run of going to the World Series in 97, that great team lost to the Marlins, that great team with Albert Bell and Kenny Lofton, then another good team this year in the past few years when they had a new window with Francisco Lindor. They had Brantley for a while before he went to Houston. The point is, if you don't win a ring, you cannot be considered to not even have a dynasty. You cannot be considered a great team. And that's not a controversial take. Rings are the only thing that matters, period. Don't give me division championships. Don't give me World Series appearances. Don't give me great pennant rings, because, by the way, you do get a ring when you win the pennant. It's just a small ring that no one wants to wear because it's called a loser's ring. Winning the pennant and losing the World Series, you put that in your drawer, and then you auction it off on eBay. The Astros' complicated legacy is that of failure. It's that of cutthroat cheating. It's that of players and GMs and owners who looked the other way, who felt as though they could not compete on a level playing field, even though they had what I think was the best team of the past 5 years. But they were so desperate to be so much smarter than everyone else, so desperate to be so much more evolved, so much more technologically proficient, so much more everything, that they lost the line of right and wrong. There is no coincidences in this world. Jeffrey Luhnow, the disgraced general manager, who came out with a statement after he was suspended for a year, saying that he knew nothing, he had nothing to do with it, he is ashamed that he's even associated with it. And I said on this show, he doth protest too much. He's been quiet since he got suspended. There was some thought in his delusional mind that he'd come back in the game in a leadership position, not realizing that he'll never have another chance, holding on to the desire to have another chance. Well, the Astros season ended. He realizes he's not going to have another chance. And Jeff Luhnow last night went scorched earth. for no reason at all, but trying to continue to rehabilitate his reputation, not understanding, not listening to nothing personal. You don't rehabilitate your reputation by bringing people down to where you exist. You rehabilitate your reputation by rising up to join people who are not down where you are. Jeff Luhnow said it's pretty clear who was not involved, and I don't know why that information, why that evidence wasn't discussed in the ruling by Commissioner Manfred. The people, Luhnow said, who were involved that didn't leave naturally to go to other teams are still employed by the Astros. None of those people faced any repercussions, Luhnow said. They weren't discussed in Manfred's report, but the evidence is all there that they were involved. I think the investigation was not attempting to really uncover who did what and who was really responsible. The goal of the investigation was to deliver punishments that Rob Manfred, the commissioner, could feel good about and that would calm the panic. He didn't stop. They had to create a case they felt good enough about in order to punish me. Rob Manfred's reading his quotes, and do you know what Rob Manfred's doing? I've been with him when he's read ramblings by people who are out of the game, when he's read like what happens when the old commissioner, Fay Vincent used to be the commissioner. He got kicked out basically by the owners. And Fay Vincent has become this amazing spokesperson, contrarian. He's the one who writers go to when they want to hear someone speak negatively about baseball or negatively about Bud Selig or negatively about Rob Manfred. They go to Fay Vincent. So PR people will walk into Rob Manfred's office and they'll read him, hey, did you see what Fay said? He said the following 5 things. Rob Manfred looks up. Bud Selig did the same thing because I've been in the room when both of them have seen comments by Fay Vincent. He looks up, he looks down, he looks away and says, okay, what's next? Like he's Jed Bartlett in the West Wing. They don't care one tinker's damn. How's that for a mixed metaphor? They don't give a tinker's damn, and they don't care one iota about Fay Vincent, and that's what they're doing to Jeff Luhnow. They literally could not be bothered with these statements. The reason I want to bring them out to you is I want to give you all an example of what not to do. You know me, I don't want to be back in the game, and I'm very honest about everything. And my scorched earth is not personal at all, even if you think once in a while it gets too close to the line. But the reason it's not personal is that there's no reason to be personal when you've got the facts and you've got the memory and you've got the stories to tell that actually happened. What Jeff Luhnow did here was so blatantly trying to again take the focus off him, which is preposterous because you all know better. If you're watching this, you're listening to this on wherever you get your podcasts and downloading and subscribing, thank you. You know very well that Luhnow ruled that team with his owner, Jim Crane, with a meddling, not pejorative, but a meddling iron fist, meaning that there was not a player who took a crap without the GM knowing. There was not a scouting report given to the manager that was not approved by the GM. There was not a lineup that was put out there and a batting order that was not approved by the GM. There was not a capital expense in the form of a camera or a dugout TV that was not approved by Jeff Luhnow. There was not one thing. And so for him to say that there were other people involved, well, of course there were. Jeff Luhnow didn't hang up the TV in the dugout. Jeff Luhnow didn't set up the camera in center field. Jeff Luhnow didn't hit the garbage can. There were computer programs and algorithms that Jeff Luhnow had that were prepared for and invented by his analytics department. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that there were people doing their job because that's what they were told to do. Now, I could get into a tired discussion with you easily about what to do when your boss tells you to do something that you know is wrong, that you cannot just blindly follow. But that said, when you are in the baseball department and you're in the analytics department and you're 23 years old and you've written a code to steal signs, you're going to tell the GM and your boss, your direct report, that you've got this done, you know very well it's going to be used to steal signs, even if you're told, by the way, we're never going to use this in game. Never, 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 never. You know exactly what it's going to be used for, because when you are in the video department or the analytics department, you're watching the game and you are seeing the Houston Astros hitters not biting on any curveballs. You're seeing them get down on the knob when they're sitting dead red fastballs and they're connecting and crushing. You know exactly what your work's being used for, but you can turn a blind eye, put your head in the sand and say, listen, all I did was prepare a report because I thought we were going to use it for advanced scouting. But then your GM goes public, your old GM goes public saying that there's still people there who knew about this. Give me a break. The reason why Jim Crane wasn't punished and you were is because Rob had to make sure that he kept 23 votes in the ownership to keep his job. Every single owner in Major League Baseball knows that Jim Crane knew about this and was involved. Every single one. And every single GM or president of baseball operations knows that Jeff Luhnow not only was involved, but was the architect of this sign stealing, because every single other president and GM knows when their own team is stealing signs. Their legacy. What is their legacy? Cheating and losing.